All right, guys, welcome here to the first podcast of A Hustler's Mindset featuring Nick and Adam. We're here to talk to you guys about who we are, what we have accomplished, and why we're here on YouTube and Apple Podcasts to talk about our background in credit repair, financing, credit repair, loans, Amazon stores. I mean, we cover all topics in finances, and we have a lot to talk about today about who we are. And how we got to this point. And to lead off today, Adam's going to start talking about, basically his come up, his beginnings, how he got into this. And obviously I'm going to talk about myself as well. But Adam, what's going on today's podcast number 1? Let these fans, listeners, followers, customers, future customers learn about who you are.
So guys, we're happy to have you on our first episode and first of many to come. So basically, we wanted to put this together to provide this platform for you guys. And not a lot of knowledge is being given out in this field, right? You see tons of free shit for bodybuilding all over Instagram. And a lot of the fans for bodybuilding don't know anything else, right? I was stuck in that competition mode just like you were, right? You thought you were just going to be Mr. Olympia one day and nothing else mattered, right? No other job, no other source of income besides bodybuilding. That's all you cared about. Well, guess what happens, right? You wake up one day and you realize you're not going to be Mr. Olympia. So here we are, right? We were starting a new journey in our lives, and we realized there's stuff outside of bodybuilding, right? So years later down the road, competition's over, and other aspects of your life become important, right? So in 2014, I had 2 little girls, right? Twin girls. Yep. A lot of people know. And my competition days came to an end. A lot of other things mattered, right? So, well, people don't know, from my beginning, I been in law enforcement, New York City Department of Corrections, going on 5 years. And I was able to leave a full-time career, making well over 6 figures, and pursue something that, I'm truly passionate about, because it's not only benefiting me and my family, but it's benefiting so many people around me, right? Not even just close friends, just anybody that we've been impacted through social media. And we've been literally changing lives by doing so. So just how I got started in the credit field about 1.5 years ago, now I have a full-time career going back a little bit, and I was looking to purchase a home. I was getting denied left and right because I had a shitty credit score. It was like a 540, 545. Nobody wanted to give me a loan for a car, and nobody definitely didn't want to give me a loan for a mortgage, right? And if I was able to get a loan you were in the car business, right? If you were giving loans for a car, what was the interest rates for somebody?
$24.99.
$24.99.
Yep.
So a lot of people don't even realize, and they're like, I got approved. So you got approved for a 2013 Dodge Charger, right? With a 25% interest rate, right? This
is a true story, by the way. That means 1/4 of your payments going to the fucking bank just for interest.
Finance manager comes back from outside from the back of the office, and he comes to the table and he says, "Listen, I have great news. You got approved, right?" And you're so excited. Oh, wow, I got approved for a new car, right?
Like they did you like they helped you out, right?
They go through all the paperwork, but they save the last step, telling you exactly how much your payment's going to be, right? And the 2013 Dodge Charger, your payments is $749. Damn. $749. And usually, you're not really bright at the time, and you take the deal. And now you're stuck in this bum ass car for a payment that you could have a Range Rover, right? And for 3, 4, 5 years. And I've been there. I've been in the lease.
How about when they have the financial? I remember this when I was selling cars. I would always keep my hand over the total amount what you would pay with interest over like the 5 years or 7 years. You're fine.
Yeah,
with the interest plus the car price, and it's like double. It's like the car's $15,000, but you pay like $30,000 in interest.
Yeah. Good news, you got approved, but I need $5,000 down, and your payments are going to be $1,000 a month, right? So there we are, right? And I've taken deals like that. I've taken deals left and right.
I have too. Same thing.
I was in a lease for 5 years with a Porsche Cayenne, thinking that I was the man when I was 20 years old, driving a brand new Porsche. Who leases a car for 5 years? Number one, right? So the finance manager comes back and said, "I'm going to get you approved for this Porsche. You're going to be driving around with your girl next to you in a brand new Cayenne. I need $5,000 down. First of all, who puts $5,000 down on a lease, right? I do. So I put $5,000 down on this lease. He comes back. He said $1,100 a month for your payment. And this is the Porsche is Porsche, right? But it's a basic Porsche. It was a V6. It was no twin turbo.
Yeah,
it was a basic model Porsche, right?
Yeah,
it was nice. It was black with camel interior, but it was basic. It barely had a sunroof, barely, right?
So for people that don't know, that $5,000 down went in that guy's pocket.
That $5,000 went in his pocket. So, me not really thinking at the time, I gave him the $5,000. I was 21. I had a tanning salon. I was living life, and I had my own business, and nothing else mattered, right? I was driving a Porsche, and I had my own tanning salon business.
Yeah.
So nobody was cooler than me, right? So I wrote it out for 5 years, and thought I learned my lesson, and obviously I didn't. I kept going into cars, and I get bored very easily. So after a couple of years, I give it back, and now I'd be upside down in payments.
Yeah.
So then you give a car back. Now they got to roll that 10, 15 grand upside down into a new vehicle. And now your payments shoot up another couple $100, right? So
I can't tell you how many times I did that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you get bored. Who really keeps the car the whole length of the term, right?
No.
So I knew it was time to fix my credit, right? We're going around in circles, but now it's time to fix my credit. So I reached out to somebody on Instagram. I saw they were big into the credit scene. Call them a guru, mentor, whatever you want to call them, showing crazy results. So I said, hey, why not? It was $1,000, or maybe it was a little more at the time. I don't really remember. But I remember when like 5 or 6 months, my score, I'm not even lying, this is really a true story. My score went from a 545 to like a 740. Right now, there's 3 bureaus, and we'll go into that in other episodes. But your main average FICO was around a 740. And you don't even realize what you get with a 740 credit score. Once your credit score is over a 700, that's like having $100,000 liquid. You could do anything. Yep. You'll get approved for anything. And not many people really know the benefits of credit. And me and you talked about it with the rewards, and we can go into that in a little more detail. Yeah. But people don't really get it. If you're not trying to fix your credit, already have good credit, have been approved for these specific type of credit cards, you don't understand the rewards value that they bring you, right?
Yeah.
Plus now we're going back to the car situation. Now, what kind of interest rates do you get with a 700 credit score? Right? You went from 499 from a
sub 6%, 7%,
right.
Used cars.
Even
new cars like 2-3%, sometimes even lower than that. They have.
You can go to a credit union.
100%.
This is a little trick. I'm going left for a second, but this is a little trick, right? Once you have over a 700 credit score, so when you go into a car dealership, this is free. I'm dropping free bombs right now. Listen to this. Dealership. I mean, you talked about this, and you're shopping around. Let's say BMW. You say, "Hey, Bob, I'm looking for a 7 Series, right?" They're gonna say, "All right, what's your social security number?" They're gonna send your social security number to Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, right? They're gonna send it to 5, 6,
I used to click all of them for if someone knew was top credit.
TD, 10 different banks until one of them come back with an approval. Maybe you'll get a few approvals, maybe you'll get none, but they want to see your best rate. So they're gonna say, "Listen, this bank came back. He's going to give you a 9% rate. That's the best we got. You got to take it." Yeah. They're going to try and sell you on it, right? And you're happy. Yeah. You walk away with the car. Beautiful. It was a good situation for both parties. Little do you know, if you're not monitoring your credit, right? A lot of people don't have credit monitoring services.
No, none at all.
If you're not monitoring your credit, you didn't realize that he just shopped your social security number to 10 different banks.
Yep.
So what that means is now they just applied 10 different hard inquiries to your credit. Yep. And if people don't know that, a hard inquiry can shoot your score down as much as 10 points per inquiry.
Yep.
So what does that mean for 10 inquiries? That now you're taking almost 100-point drop. So you walked in, you were thinking you were a man with a 700 credit score, and you could leave there with a 6.
Yep.
That's wild.
And the best part is when I sold cars and I did that, not one person even flinched about asking or even saying anything. And this is weeks later, sometimes after they buy the car, they never even questioned how many banks I sent it to. So that's how I know no one looked. No one looks.
Right.
And that's
And
why that bomb is very important to.
You know what the smart person will do? The person who is conscious about their credit.
Oh yeah, they'll come in with their rate too.
That person will come in. They're gonna go to a small credit union, like Navy Federal, right? Bethpage, small credit union. They're gonna get a pre-approval already, where they only got to give the VIN, the value of the car, and they're basically gonna give that client a check for the amount of that vehicle.
Like paying cash.
So basically now you are walking into BMW with a check and you say, listen, I have $40,000.
Yep.
Here. Now they don't got to shop your Social Security around. So that's only one. Now that's only one inquiry, right? Because the credit union pulled your credit only one time. They're not shopping you around.
Nope.
They want your business.
And they will get you the best. They'll get you the best rates too if you have prime credit.
Under 5% for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Yep. Definitely.
So that's a little secret not a lot of people know. But again, you have to work to get there. Not somebody with a 600, a 550, a 650 can't do that.
Nope.
This is prime lending. Over a 700, specifically, realistically, or maybe around a 720. And different banks pull different bureaus, but again, we can talk about this down the road. There's so much stuff. There's a whole nother avenue we can go down. Certain banks only pull certain bureaus, so you got to learn, depending on which bureau has a better score, what bank you're going to go to.
Yep. Another thing too, just to point out, I don't think a lot of people realize that with a 700 plus credit score, you don't have to be making $100,000 a year in order to get something to be approved for something that much either. Because there's a thing called STIPs. So when you are buying a car, a home, they're going to require STIPs. So proof of residency, proof of income, whatever they want to ask. Honestly, it's literally anything.
Yep.
When you have a 700 credit score, you can usually 720, you can almost get away with inflating your income. We'll talk about that in another segment, obviously. And it's not illegal, but it's just to be in order to get work around to be able to get approved for things if you're not making that kind of money, but maybe on the books or off the books. The government doesn't have to know every single dollar you're making taxed money. If you notice, sometimes you fill out applications, there's a spot for non-taxable income. They try to get people to put down. I always put 0 regardless of what I make, because that's none of their business. It's cash money. But 700 credit score holds a lot of weight in a lot of different ways, which Adam and I will touch on in several different podcasts. But it's beyond what you guys think it is if you don't know anything about credit. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
I reached out to this company who was ran by, I'll drop their names. It was ran by Sean Sharma.
Big name.
He's a huge name in the credit game, right? So that was the first person that I started to follow. And he has 2 partners, Kyle and Amesh. And I reached out to them. We were able to get my credit going. So like I said, within that, might have been even less than 6 months, but let's say 6 months to play fair, right? My credit shot up almost 200 points, 175 points.
It's fucking massive.
Once I realized that this was actually possible, really the sky's the limit. Like, you could wipe off collection accounts off my credit. You could wipe off late payments. Yeah. I really thought it was bullshit. So, but it was whatever the price was at the time, $1,000, $2,000. I paid it. If it was a loss, it was a loss. But I at least wanted to try, right?
No.
When I started to see these accounts completely be removed from my credit, I was taken back. I didn't think it was possible.
Were you good on your? I'll admit, when I was a kid, I was terrible at making payments on my credit cards. Did you had that issue too when you were a kid growing up? With, you didn't realize how effective, you didn't realize how much damaging of missing a payment was on credit cards.
No,
Yeah.
I fucked with a lot of banks. I shouldn't have cards right now that I do. I don't even know how they approve me because of my past. I literally fucked Amex. I fucked Chase. And not saying this is what you should do, but when you're kids, you don't realize the power of credit and the the impact that it has by not paying your payments, right? And a lot of times people don't do it on purpose. They just maybe they get laid off from work, they get in sticky situations, and paying off a credit card is probably last on their list, right? If you're trying to pay your rent, if you're trying to put food on your kid's table, that all comes priority. And I don't disagree with any of that. 100%. 100%. But a lot of times people fall short paying off those payments. And what you don't realize, right? Having 3 or more late payments on your credit report has the same effect on your credit score as a bankruptcy.
That's
serious. So people's probably listening to this right now, like, oh shit, I got like 10.
People have 90-day lates all over the place.
90-day, 30-day. It don't even got to be 90-day late. Once you hit that 30-day late, past 30-day late marks, it's hitting your credit, right? Which means you could be 28 days, 29 days. Once you hit that past that 30, that creditor is going to send that report to the bureau, and they're going to make sure that's reporting on your credit. Right? That goes for auto loans, credit cards, student loans, child support, lines of credit, personal loans. It doesn't matter. It's going on your credit, right? A lot of times you'll see that people rent furniture, dumb shit, right? You can't afford a couch.
Rent a center.
Right? I'm not against it. You don't realize how much fucking interest you're paying on a couch.
Oh man, they're making bank though.
Making bank. You're paying crazy interest on a couch. So a couch that would have cost you $800, right? At Rooms Unlimited. Now you're paying $2,600 for after you're done paying the couch back.
I've been there too, though. I've rented shit. Oh my god, dude! The craziest thing that I've financed.
I see crazy shit on people's credit.
Like Best Buy takes everyone down. That was like one of the worst things I've always seen is Best Buy credit cards.
Best Buy, because you got to say Best Buy is not the bank that holds these credit cards, right? They're all backed by usually Synchrony. Synchrony is a bank that backs all these major retailers like PC Richards, Best Buy, right? Care Credit. I remember when I was starting to lose my hair, I put 10 grand on a Care Credit card for that Bosley shit, right? And they did that. I was like 21, right? So they gave me $10,000 for the Bosley, where they take the hair follicles out of the back of your head and they try and implant it.
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, well, see how well that worked, right? that was, I think it was more than 10 grand. Whatever it was down the drain. So
Care Credit's all over the place.
Care Credit. You can use Care Credit. I used Care Credit to neuter my dog one year. You can use Care Credit for whatever. You use it for your dentist if you're trying to get new teeth. But it's wild. People don't understand the impact. So
plus they're liable for so many years on that. They don't realize how many payments they have to make. And a lot of them have prepayment penalties. So like you can't pay more. You can't pay more every month on it to pay it down quicker. So there's interest. There's a penalty if you try to do that, or they don't even allow you to do it.
Usually, yes. Some banks will allow you, but usually
the shitty ones will try to fuck you to the last cent that you got to pay on them. So
these shitty banks are because they approve everybody. They'll approve your dog if you give them a social security number. You know what I mean? But they're going to charge you fees, so many hidden fees, like Credit One Bank. I don't know if you heard of Credit One.
Of course, I have Credit One Bank credit cards before. I still do, I think.
Credit One is the biggest fraud. I'll tell you why. Because they try and make their logo look like their Capital One. So when somebody sees an invitation in the mail from Credit One, they get excited. They get all hyped. They think, oh, they really want me. But you're not putting two and two together. You really think it's Capital One. They got the same logo. Their names are pretty similar. Then you get this bullshit card in the mail. And you're not realizing they're charging you a monthly fee, a yearly fee. They're charging you like 35% interest, right?
Yep.
If you're like 5 days late, they charge you a fee. If you're 30 days late, they charge you a fee. Fees out the ass. That's how they make all their money. And now people are stuck in this credit card. And I was one of them. Right? Yep. I stopped paying the card. I saw all these fees. I said, oh, fuck them. I'm not paying them no more. That was one of the cards that I charged off on. Right. And that was one of the accounts I was able to get removed from my credit report. And when I saw that got removed, because I was killing my credit. Credit One, they should even try taking me to court, all that. Got it all taken off. Never had to pay it back.
Damn. I didn't know Credit One was that severe with that.
Yeah, I got a letter in the mail for me to show up at court, and then I got a letter in the mail probably like 30 days later saying they dismissed it.
They probably get so pissed when they see that happen. That's like they're banking on you, people like
Yeah.
you.
All they want
That's
to do is they just want you to settle. So if you owe them $2,000, they say, "Hey, can you at
Yeah.
least get 500?"
Yep. It's basically what they do. I remember I used to get floods of letters when I was fucked up my credit. Just give
Yeah,
us 200,
please,
300.
we'll take anything at this point. This is what people don't understand. Once an account is charged off on your credit report, it does not matter if you pay them.
Right.
Right? Let me say that again. If you have an account that is charged off or goes to collections, and the collection agency tries to collect that debt from you and you
Yeah.
pay it,
Yeah.
it still remains on your credit report.
Yeah, you're a sucker at that point.
For 7 years, right? That's
Yep.
wild. So here you go. Now you're thinking you're doing the right thing. You're paying them, and it still remains on your credit report. That's why we're in the business that we're in, because we're helping people remove accounts that they don't even have to pay.
No.
Which
That money's going all the collector's account, bank account.
Listen, so let's give them an example, right? So say you had a credit card with Credit One Bank. Say you defaulted on, let's make it easy, say $100, right? They sent it to a collection agency, say Joe Schmo collection agency. They sold that $100 debt, say for $20. They said,
Yep.
"Hey, we'll sell it for 20. We're not going to get the 100 from him. He's not answering our phone calls. Buy this from us for $20." And you try. So now they sell the debt to Joe Schmo collection agency for $20.
Mm-hmm.
And now Joe Schmo is going to try and collect the 100 so they can profit 80, right?
Yep.
But Joe Schmo, you don't owe Joe Schmo. You don't have any written contract with Joe Schmo collection agency. You had a contract with Credit One, but Credit One now sold your debt off to a third-party collection agency. It's no longer your debt.
Yep.
That's how we're able to remove these accounts. It's not a loophole. It's not no gray area.
Yep.
Legally speaking, it's no longer your debt.
Yep. They're actually in the wrong for selling off your debt, to be honest with you.
Of course. All day long.
People always question that, though. Like, you're just going through a loophole. I'm like, it's called. There's no such thing as a business that we do that's going through loopholes to get things removed. That would never be possible, especially as fast as things happen. There's just no way around it, because they have no defense once you
learn the strategies, and the strategies that we've been utilizing for the last year are limitless. I've seen things come off that I was sure they would never come off. We've got relationships with the bureaus, and what we even go a step further is, once we get that account removed, we seal it with the courts, which means that account will never come back again. So a lot of times you'll see people that think they could fix their own credit by sending in these standard 609 letters, they're called, or you might hire one of these bullshit ass credit repair companies that charge you some bullshit ass monthly fee, right? For $100 a month. They'll say, "We'll fix your credit," right? $100 a month. You think that's a great deal. Not only what are they doing, they're dragging your file purposely out for over a year. So what you think is only $100 a month comes out to well over $1,200, because now they're dragging it out for over a year. Well over a year. And they're not doing anything. They might remove one account within 6-12 months and show you that they're doing something, but what their strategies and what they're doing does not work. It's severely outdated. No. So what we've been doing has provided tremendous results in, they're aggressive, don't get me wrong, but they provided tremendous results in the fastest amount of time possible.
Yeah.
And nobody else is doing it.
No, and this goes into a good segue, because, I've always had very good credit. Even when I was a young kid, my father, this is a really fucked up story when you hear it. Me and my father have the same name. So I'm junior, he's senior. And when I was growing up, I sold cars very young. If you guys don't know that, I was in the car business when I was 15, washing cars at a used car lot. I got kicked out of high school, started selling cars at 16 years old. I learned all about financing. I learned all about, hustling from the ground up, selling cars, like literally from the street up. My cousin's car lot was one of the biggest car lots you can possibly say in New Jersey, and then obviously on the Jersey Shore. So I got a lot of experience from the ground up from him. So he taught me credit very young. I started getting credit cards at 16, 17 years old, 18 years old, because I got cosigner, I got secure credit cards. I built my credit from scratch. Long story short, my father goes through a very bad time in his life. He bellies up on our home, which is $1 million plus home at the time. I had a very nice childhood. Let me just say that. I moved out when I was very young, but I had a very nice childhood. My father gave me everything I wanted. He spoiled me rotten. He went through a hard spot, though. And when the stock market hit the fucking ground in 2001, when 9/11 happened, he went through a very hard spot. I did not know this. This is when I kind of got away from my credit now. We were talking, I forget how old I was when this happened. 2005, he started the crash. So like high school, somewhere around there. Between 2005 2008, he had a hard spot. He started using my social for himself because we had the same name. Started applying for credit cards in my social because I had good credit. Started getting approved for big Amexes, big credit lines. He refied his home in my social. Now, mind you, the reason he was able to do is because I had a good credit score and they didn't ask for stips or anything. And I'm this 20-year-old kid refining $1 million home with no stips because back then, mind you, too, it was very lackadaisical when they asked for proof of income or anything. And I'm sure my dad was a shyster. I'm sure he figured something out if he needed to be asked for it. So long story short, I had God knows how many credit cards in my name at this time and loans and a mortgage. He bellies up on all of it. I did not know this. So I moved out at the time. I started getting all these letters for Amex, Capital One, you name it. I had Chase. I'm blacklisted from Chase, mind you. Like I could never go to Chase anymore at the time. So this all starts coming in. I'm like, what the fuck? I start freaking out. I actually go and hire one of these people Adam was just talking about. These people that monitor your credit. I hired a lawyer, bullshit lawyer, $3 to $5 grand I spent on a lawyer. I had his credit monitoring service for $100, $200 a month, multiple ones to make sure they get this off my credit. Literally all they did was, like he said, stroke me for a year to 2 years to I don't remember how long exactly. This is a long time ago, guys, but this was starting already back then with these places. Lawyers that got stuff off my credit that end up coming back on my credit because all he did was remove trade lines. We'll talk about that later. They all basically pulled my string because I didn't know what I was talking about or what I was doing. I was just led down the wrong road when it comes to credit repair, proper credit repair. There's nothing wrong with credit repair, but you have to go to the right people, just like anything else in any business. So this happened to me, and I got pretty upset because at the time, I'm working for every dollar I can, and every dollar I was making was going back into paying off credit cards, trying to keep the credit card payments alive so my credit didn't go down just because of what my dad did to me on top of my regular bills, paying these lawyers, paying these fees. And I was like, what am I doing? I'm paying into a hole that's never going anywhere. Like this is a dead end. My parents don't even live in this home, and I'm paying this bank, this fucking on this refi for this loan that's in collections, these credit cards that are in collections. And I'm like, what am I doing making these minimum payments? Then I hired a debt consolidator. I'm sure you're familiar with those.
That's the worst. That's the worst idea to do. Yeah.
So they're like, oh, we can consolidate your debt to one low payment of whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. Now, mind you, that let's say the payment was $300. I'm paying like $298 to the fucking to the consolidation place, and $2 is like going towards my debt. That didn't go anywhere. Yeah. I breached those contracts. I get sued by them. I had all these crazy lawsuits. So that ended up being a very ugly point in my life where I was like, I have to educate myself on credit. I have to educate myself on how to do this properly. I met with the right people. This is way before me and Adam even hooked up. This is a long time ago, guys. But mind you, life comes in circles. Like these things come in full circle. So I'm going through this a long time ago. I kind of go through a rough patch again in my life. I start fucking up my credit cards again. This is kind of what happens until you actually get a grip on things fully. And you're like, okay, now I can actually afford all my payments. I can afford my credit cards. I know what the hell I'm doing, not doing. I know what to look for. And this took me almost 10, 15 years to figure out. Mind you, you could figure this out very quick if you have the right people around you. But credit's a weird thing. It's like bodybuilding as well. Like You have to go through different coaches, nutritionists, different workouts to figure out how to do things properly and self-taught yourself. If not, you're going to be led by these scumbags that are just trying to steal money from you. They're trying to get a quick fix on a payment real quick. They're trying to consolidate your debt and just making money on you, not helping you. And you have to get the right people around you. It's a very, I don't want to call it a shady business, but there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of people just out there to make money in their own pocket if you're not, led by the right people. And it took me a while to figure it all out. I mean, this is years of experience going down, selling cars, doing financing. I got into stocks. I got into mortgages. I mean, you name it, I was in the financial world. I did it. And with all that experience, I finally learned my lesson a couple of years ago. I started to reestablish my credit. I started getting secured credit cards. I started getting credit, small credit cards through different banks offer me after my secured credit, built my credit back up. It just took years to rebuild it because, like Adam said, 7 years is a long time for stuff to sit on your credit. And until you meet the right people that actually can remove stuff, that stuff just sits there, and you're literally your worst enemy. You're just counting the clock down until stuff can be removed. Now, the biggest lesson I learned through all this whole process was to always do your own homework on your credit. Regardless of what these agencies are telling you, regardless of who's helping your credit, you have to look at your credit and just literally just read it for yourself and understand what you're reading. Study how to read things yourself, know what trade lines mean, know what all the little codes mean and all the anonyms mean, so you know what you're reading. So many people just go into it blind and they get like, oh, I have Experian monitoring my credit, I'm fine. And they never look at your credit. There's just so many of these things that you have to pay attention to when you're reading your credit, understanding your credit. And this is why Adam and I wanted to do this, mainly because I got more thrown in this because of Adam, because he one that really pushed my credit over the top, and my fiance's. And he taught me things I didn't even know about until the last 6 months. And that's what I mean, guys. Everyone can learn from each other. You never know everything. And remember that we're just here to help you. We're not here to gain anything on you. We're here to promote something that actually works and a company that actually stands behind what they do. We're not here hiding behind a website. We're real people, and that's what I stress in the bodybuilding world. Go to somebody that's a real person, a real face that's actually interacting with you, that can help you, offer customer support. That's not here just to sham you for $100 or $1,000. It's literally down to the person. If you trust that person and you feel like they're out putting out good advice and good experience with their business, you should go to them. And that's what we're here to educate you guys on, because especially, we both come from the bodybuilding world, fitness world, and I wasn't taught anything about how to invest or build my credit. It was all self-taught. And that's why I know so much in bodybuilding and fitness, because I was self-taught. And same with Adam. Adam's learned from the bottom up. We were in the same circle. We've always been friends. We always known each other. We both had our own struggles coming up. And it's basically, it's built who we are, and it's taught everything that we know from experience. We're not sucking information from people and just regurgitating it. We actually learned and processed these things and saw the issues and problem solve them. And I think that's the biggest lesson that we can teach you guys, is problem solving. We can tell you everything, tell you to do it, but until you actually go through it and learn it for yourself, you're not going to really know how to do it. So don't just sit here and listen, take notes, register what we do, pay attention, apply these things to your own credit. Don't just listen and go in one out the other. I've done that many times. I've listened to a million podcasts and I don't actually register what's going on. So take notes, especially from Adam when he's talking about these major key points to register. It's so important. It's so crucial, because these are big bombs that we drop on this podcast, and we will drop on this podcast, that a lot of people won't tell you because they don't want you to learn. We want you to learn. We're trying to teach you secrets. We're trying to teach you how to do things yourself. It's all about, even with bodybuilding, if you don't follow bodybuilding, when you coach someone, you want to see that person flourish on their own. You're not trying to keep them your client for your entire life. And that's one thing I think Adam, believes in as well. So,
yeah.
But. 'Cause, when we started bodybuilding, did you have anyone ever even mention credit to you though? Because did anyone even talk about it? Did you even acknowledge it? You just paid everything cash, I'm assuming.
Everything was cash. I was putting a lot of stuff in my girl's name at the time, and and then her credit went to shit. I was trying to put down large down payments on cars just so I would get approved. But yeah, I always use cash, and I did a complete 180 from then to now because I never use cash. I'm a guy that never has cash on them. We go out to dinner. You want to split a bill? I'm just putting it on my card, and we'll work it out later. I never have cash on me. You don't want to use cash, right? This goes back to what we're talking about with rewards and points. Never use cash. Never use your debit card, right? So here's another little trick. Not a trick, but a huge piece of knowledge, which a lot of people don't understand. If your identity gets stolen, or if somebody is able to get a hold of your debit card information, right? Say you purchase something off the internet with your debit card, and that website, their secure checkout is not really so secure, right? Maybe it gets hacked. Happens all the time. Not even just a small. We're talking about Target. Remember when Target's their entire
oh my god,
their entire
Best Buy, same thing.
Their entire website was hacked. I think it was maybe 2 years ago, right around Christmas time. And everybody had to get new cars. But say somebody actually was able to get into your account and drain it. There's no protection. None. You're out of that money 9 times out of 10. Now, if you took your American Express card, guess what happens to that money that they just went on a shopping spree with? It goes right back into your account within 24 hours. You have full coverage. That's the insurance that you have with credit opposed to cash. People don't understand that. So besides the points and rewards value that you get from utilizing these cards and being able to leverage these cards, right, is the protection on its own. So we can have a whole story about leveraging credit. I don't want too much in detail about it. This is, like our intro first episode for you guys. But being able to leverage credit, which is really, we call it OPM, right? OPM means other people's money. When you invest in a business, do you want to use your own capital? Never. Never.
People get really salty though when, let's say, a celebrity or someone they look up to says, why would you want to use your own money when you can leverage someone else's? And people get so upset about that for some reason. And I'm like, dude, these guys, they live on other people's, the bank's credit or someone's, investment.
You think all these wealthy investors are utilizing their own money?
No,
I'm talking about
not a chance.
Big time investors. You follow Grant Cardone, right? On
of course
on Instagram. Multi-millionaire real estate. You still think he has the capital to do so? You still think he's using his own capital to invest? No, right? So it all starts with credit with the banks and leveraging it so you can in turn start a business. So that's how I got started in this niche, right? A little over probably 2 years ago. Investing in my first business just by utilizing credit, which is huge.
I'm sure when you started your tanning salons or any of your business, it was probably mostly credit, right? Everything was, so God forbid too, you protect yourself too. I mean, we'll talk about LLCs and all that other stuff too as well.
You're protected for sure. But I got into the tanning salon. A few buddies that I know from the gym, they owned it. They were looking to get out. I bought them out. And that was when tanning salons were popping. Like you didn't
popping.
I'm talking like even really before the Beach Bum era, right? Before Beach Bum popping up on every corner, every shopping center.
Hollywood Tan, all those chains that
all those, there was no such thing as a franchise tanning salon. It was just your local pop tanning salon. That's when it was really booming. And I'm talking like maybe like 2008, 2009 around.
Yep.
And but again, tanning salons is a majority of cash business. There's not primarily a lot of credit cards transactions. A lot of it was cash. So I had to be responsible in managing my income through cash, and I always had tons of cash on me. I looked like
Right.
the guy at the gas station that had the big bankroll in his pocket. You know what I mean? And he
It pulls out the rubber band to give you change.
Yeah, he's like he just came from the strip club. He has $1,000 in singles, right? I was that guy.
Yeah.
So, again, you got to completely transition yourself from getting away from cash and utilizing your credit. Now, not everybody's going to be able to be approved for these credit cards. That's why we're starting from zero to where we are. And we're going to get you there, right? This is the first episode. We're going to get you there. Not everybody is going to have a 700 or a 650 or a 750 credit score. And that's okay. Just know that you can get there. And there's besides hiring, even push that aside, right? Say you don't have the funds to even hire a credit repair company. There's so many tips and tricks that you can do on your own just to increase your credit score alone. So that's what we're going to go over. We're really here to teach you guys and educate you guys on the credit and finance aspects just of your own personal life, and how to utilize it to branch out and really just kill it with any business you're trying to do. And it's really limitless. It really is. That's why there's so many avenues we can go down. It's just where you want to start.
Yeah. The best part is, though, I think once you start rolling with the credit, you start getting credit cards that have good limits on them. You have a charge card from Amex. You can, the rewards like back of your hand. So that's definitely something I learned a lot from you. Amex gives you such incentives to use their money. They want you to spend your money on their cards, and getting 5 times points, 4 times points, 3 times points, that's more money in your pocket at the end of the day. So people think like, oh, I don't want to rack up my credit cards, I'm so scared. It's like, listen, you're getting the money back on the other end regardless of how much you spend. So you should be incentivized to want to use as much as you can on their credit cards because you're getting it back, especially when you have the money to use them.
That's what they're there for.
That's what they're there for. I don't agree with spending outside your limits, obviously, because that's just gonna get you in a hole like I did to myself and Adam did to himself.
Yeah.
But spending outside your means is not going to get there. But that's not what credit's for. Credit's to leverage yourself to get further in life and get a better life for yourself. When people say money equals happiness or money equals freedom, no, I think credit equals freedom, because with credit you can do a lot more,
of course,
with cash any day of the week, because you can have millions in the bank, a yacht, a car, 10 homes. If your credit is garbage, you cannot get approved for anything. So what are you going to do with it? It doesn't mean shit. So you could buy everything cash and have nothing in your pocket. Well, who wants to do that?
Who wants to do that?
So no,
a lot of people,
not the smart individual.
A lot of people are scared to use credit because they feel like, oh, well, I don't want to pay these high interest rates, right?
Right.
But guess what? If you pay your card off, you won't have to pay any interest. It's really, people don't understand it. Like if you have a payment due,
people think they have to make the minimum payment. That's the thing.
If you have a balance of $800, right, and it's due on the 1st, pay it, and then you won't have to pay the interest on the debt. It's pretty simple. And many people don't even realize there's so many cards that offer 0% interest now. So and these are the cards that I'm talking about, especially now these offers that banks are giving. Chase is a huge one of them. All of their business cards are 0% interest. And these are the cards I'm talking about when you want to leverage credit for investing, right? So even if you had, say, 10 grand in the bank, wouldn't you rather just go get a 0% interest for the next 12 to 15 months and use that 10 grand on that credit card and go invest in whatever business you're trying to invest in? Because then what if the business fails, right? At least you have the option to pay that minimum payment. Maybe it's 20, 40, 50 bucks a month, right? You could swing that at 0% interest for the next year and a half. That's not bad, right?
Nope.
So a lot of people don't realize that there's options like that available, and it's super easy to get a hold of. It's just you need the tools to get there, for sure.
I think also, just from a intro standpoint, we're not only going to talk about credit repair, we also want to help you guys on building your credit. Obviously, what it takes to have good credit, because a lot of people think, we talked about this before, Adam, on the phone, removing credit, they're going to have a good credit score. And a lot of people sit there and get frustrated because, let's say you hire Adam or I, or, whoever, any credit repair company or anybody, and they remove that negative credit, and then you have nothing on your credit that's positive. You're not going to have a good credit score just because the negative credit was moved and that consumed your entire credit report. So you have to learn how to build credit as well. And I think a lot of people don't understand. I didn't understand it. I thought just getting credit cards and spending them and racking them up and making minimum payment was a good way of doing it. And that is the worst thing to do.
You have a 550 credit score because you have five collections and 2 late payments on your credit. That's why it's a 500, right? So now you go and get those derogatory and delinquent accounts removed, but that's all you had on your credit. You're still going to have a 500 credit score. So now you no longer, you switch, right? Now you no longer have bad credit. You just have no credit. So now you got to work on building yourself up. Now you're 18 years old again, right? You're getting these card invitations in the mail for, hey, you've been approved for $300, right? What are you put gas in your car for $300? When I get sushi takeout, that's $300, right? So you're gonna max that shit out for lunch. So you got to, like you were talking about before, secure credit cards. That's one way, and there's so many tips and tricks to adding lines of credit to your file to help boost your score. And again, that's something going deeper. But there's so many methods, and I'm not even just talking about trade lines. I'm talking about actual legit lines of credit that will be posted to your account, and that will report every single month that you're showing good faith payment history, and that's huge. I'm talking about big lines of credit, $5,000. Everybody gets approved no matter what. And not many people know about these secret lines of credit that help increase. I'm doing that with my wife right now, so rebuilding her credit. And I was able to get everything removed, but now she has no credit. So it's huge for sure.
Yeah, I don't think people understand the importance of having history, because if you go apply for a credit loan and you have no bad credit but you have no history, that's just as bad too.
Yeah,
they have nothing to. You're not going to get approved just because you have no. Everyone's like, oh, I have nothing bad, but then I open a credit and there's nothing. They have one credit card,
right?
And they paid 6 times, and I'm like, well, what does the bank have to go by to know that you're going to pay back them? They have no. You're not going to get approved for that.
No.
And another thing too, as important as your credit is, you still have to make money to pay the credit cards off. So a lot of people think like, oh, I get these credit cards, but you got to pay them back. So you do have to have a good job in order to pay your credit cards back. A lot of people think like, just because they get approved for all these credit cards. So let's say they do have a 700 and they were making, a good enough money to pay the credit cards. And let's say they have a change of jobs, whatever. You can't just forget about these credit cards. And another thing too, you have to have money to be able to establish your credit as well. So like you have to work hard, make money, establish your credit, make the payments. You can't just stretch out these payments forever. You're going to go broke that way as well. People just stretch the payments out and pay a minimum payment every month and don't realize how much is going to interest. People don't even look at that stuff. They don't even break down how much is actually going to their pay. Like, oh, I paid my payments $40. I'm like, no.
You're doing exactly what these banks want you to do. You're paying the minimum payment.
You're going in circles.
You're doing exactly what they want you to do. They want you to pay the minimum payment. That way they can charge you interest and charge you fees. And that's how they make their money, right? They don't want you to pay the entire balance off because now they're not making it off of you, right?
No.
They hate that. They hate that. But
even the lower end credit cards, they don't even let you pay the full amount or make a payment ahead of time. They make you wait. Yeah, like Credit One does that. Credit One does that scary shit.
Scam. That's a scam.
Scam. The low scares scam banks do that to you.
Scam and a half for sure.
Yeah, so you gotta be careful with all those. Those are little things you have to pay attention to.
Yeah,
and as well as Adam also is into. This is down the road though, guys. Don't get excited yet, but Amazon stores we're going to be talking about as well. I don't want to give out too much. We'll talk about that later. That's another big thing.
That's another
e-commerce.
Leverage your credit for sure. Yep. They tie hand in hand.
E-commerce platforms. I hate that term e-commerce because everyone just throws it around like it's some some special thing. It's just having a business online, guys. That's all it is. And a lot of these YouTube channels talk about like e-commerce tricks. I'm like, it's a business. It's an online platform that you make money on. But there is a lot of insides of do's and don'ts with online businesses. I learned my hard lesson with that. Credit card processors, I want to talk about that. That's a big segment as well. What the do's and don'ts with credit card processing. There's a lot of things we want to talk about. It's a broad spectrum of topics, but definitely it's going to all circle back to building your credit and repairing your credit and protecting your credit.
Yeah, they all tie hand in hand for sure.
Right. I mean, it's literally everything. If you follow Adam on Instagram, I advise you could see a lot of people he's helping, has helped himself, how he gets the points to be able to fly, eat, stay at hotels, not for free, because obviously like I said, he's spending the money to get these points, guys. This is not free. So when you see these places market, oh, I flew for free. Yes, he's flying for free because he's already spent the money with them. It's just a reward for spending money with them. Remember that, nothing's for free. So don't let these pages sell you on these gimmicks and scams or ebooks to tell you how to get money for free, because it's not free. Adam's spending a lot of money. Trust me. Adam spent that money probably 5 times over on the floor.
It's definitely not free. Yeah, for sure. It's for sure.
But it's definitely big incentives to use their credit cards. That's for sure. So
yeah,
we have a lot to go into. So this is going to be like a good kickoff for us intro. We're going to talk more details about our past and like real intricate details, but I don't want to do that all in one video. I don't want to bore you guys with that. I'd rather hit pinpointed topics singly on podcasts. So we just want to do an introduction. I'm going to put up our Instagram names to follow us both on Instagram. This is the YouTube channel designated for it. We'll have a podcast up on Apple iTunes as well. It's under the same name, A Hustler's Mindset. So once we get to 3 podcasts, that will be up. And then I'm going to flash the email across the screen, website. You guys can check everything out that we offer. Adam, just real quick, besides the credit repair, can you just real quick talk about the other services that you guys also offer? Not into pricing and stuff, but just an idea so people understand fully what true credit repair stands for and what you guys represent.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't understand what credit repair, means. So any negative account, right? And when we talk about negative accounts, we're talking about your derogatories, we're talking about your delinquents, and we're talking about your inquiries. All those things affect your credit score, and tremendously. So any derogatory account, we're talking about collections, right? We're talking about charge-offs, bankruptcies, foreclosures, repossessions, student loans, hospital bills, child support, all of those accounts that become negative. And when I mean become negative, meaning you're defaulting on a payment, those accounts can be removed. Hard inquiries can be removed. All those negative items take into an account of bringing your score down. Obviously, the more you have, the more impact it has to your credit score. But there's what we found when we started the company was there was a lot of individuals who had great credit, but they had a lot of inquiries on their credit. And when I mean they had great credit, I mean they had no negative accounts. They had no charge-offs. They had no collections. They definitely weren't bankrupt. They had no child support. They had no late payments, no nothing, right? But they had a lot of hard inquiries. Maybe they have a lot of cars, right? They were shopping around for a lot of auto loans,
Right.
mortgages, because even mortgage companies will do the same thing. They're going to shop you around, right, to a few banks. Maybe they were in the process of trying to apply for new lines of credit cards, revolving credit, whatever the case may be. So for these individuals that have great credit, 700 or above, but have a lot of inquiries, we created an inquiry removal package, which is obviously a fraction of the cost, and all we're doing is removing their inquiries, right?
Yep.
But 9 times out of the 10, that's not the case. People usually have at least one account with a 30-day late, or one account with a charge-off, or multiple accounts with collections, whatever the case may be. So we created a credit wipe package. In the credit wipe package, we're going to remove all of those derogatories, all those delinquents, and we're still going to remove all of your hard inquiries that aren't attached to open accounts. Okay.
Yep.
So what that means is, say you applied for a BMW, but you didn't get approved, all those inquiries can be removed. If you applied for an Amex or a Chase, you got denied, those inquiries can be removed. If you applied for that Chase or Amex and you were approved, then we cannot remove those inquiries. All right. So let that be known. Okay. Because then what it'll do is it'll close that account because we're disputing it. But I'm talking about inquiries that are not attached to open accounts. Those can be removed. So we have those two separate packages. And they've been, like I said, 9 times out of 10, people will always choose the credit wipe just because what's on their file. But at least we have those two divisions to really be suitable for any type of person in any financial situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, from the questions I gotten already about credit repair, just real quick, a lot of people go into it not knowing anything about credit. So I kind of have to explain things from the ground up because they don't even know what a delinquent account means. They don't know what 30-day late means. And it's very basic terms. We're not making fun of you or talking down to you, but a lot of people don't know even the terminology when we talk like that. So they don't know what DTI means. They don't know anything. So when I sit there and break it down to them, then they're like, oh, now I fully understand the packages because we explained the package to them and they're like, that's Spanish to me. I don't even know what that means. What's a hard inquiry? That's why we're making these videos to educate you guys. Maybe you're not ready to do this now, but maybe in a couple of videos, you understand what we're talking about and you can go look at your own credit and reference the things we're talking about and see exactly what we're saying is bringing your score down. I mean, all these things are going to heavily weigh on your credit score. And I didn't think they were a big deal. I'm like, oh, that's only 7 points. That's only 10 points. That's only this. And when you add it up, you're like, fuck, that's my whole fucking credit score. Like that takes me from 480 to 600, or whatever.
For sure.
And Justin, literally since I've been doing my credit repair with Adam, I was shit. And this is because of my whole issue I went through a couple of years ago. I never fixed my credit. I had lawsuits. I had a bunch of shit in my name I had to get cleared out. Mm-hmm. And I went from the 5s. I'm already at 690 with you guys. Mm-hmm. So I was literally in the 5s a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. I think I was like 530 or 520. And it was a bad 520. It was just like they gave me.
And if anybody follows you, you just posted, right, that you just got approved for an Amex Gold, an Amex Platinum, and a Sapphire preferred card. If anybody knows, those are top tier credit cards, right?
Yeah.
So those are going to produce.
Go ahead.
Those are going to produce you the highest amount of reward value and cash back out of any single card on the market. So you got those 3 top tier, which you wouldn't have been approved for just a couple months ago, which is insane.
Yeah. And people don't realize, like, I had so much good credit too, which was sad because there was only a couple things that were really fucking me up, but they were really bringing my score down. I mean, we're talking hundreds of points here, Yeah. I think even the swing's probably even more than that, actually, when I think about it, when I first started with you.
Yep.
But it's crazy to see the difference. And I'm not talking up the company with Adam. And the only reason I'm here is because this worked so positive for me. And this was a very good experience. And I've been wanting to find something to get into this whole avenue of credit avenue financing again. And this whole was just like literally like, it fell on my lap when Adam started to bring this to me and we started talking about it. I've been asking you for months prior to that. I was like, I need help. Remember?
Yep.
I was like, I need help. And then I finally was like, fuck it. Because I was scared. I was like you guys. I was scared of giving my money up that I worked so hard for again to a company where in the past it wasn't the best experience. They would get some stuff off and they give up. Or they're just taking your money and not helping you anymore, and they're pretending like they're helping you. This was an upfront payment, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. And I get a lot of people are hesitant, right? Because they may be unsure, or maybe it's the last amount of money in their bank account, right? Yep. You got to take into consideration what means more to you, because having shitty credit is way more expensive than paying to get it fixed. Think about that, right?
Yeah, it's a very good statement.
So if you're comfortable with having shitty credit, then you go get that 2013 Dodge Charger that we were talking about earlier, right? And then you go enjoy paying those $800 car payments when you could just pay a one-time fee to any credit. I'm not even talking about me. You could pay to or us a credit repair company to fix your credit, raise your score, and reduce your payment by volume. And I'm talking hundreds of dollars you're saving per month. So do the math. When you add up the length of the term of that finance or lease, how much money do you think you'd be saving? Tens of thousands of dollars.
Tons. Especially when people have high revolving credit, mortgages in their name, car loans, like you said, student loan. It's insane.
It's insane. So you got to realize you got to make an investment with yourself. If you're in that type of situation, maybe you're not. Maybe you have great credit and you just want to learn about other tips and tricks to keep your score where it's at, or maybe bump it up a little bit higher. You know, some people are already in the 700s and they want an 800. There's definitely tips and tricks to get you there, and we're going to drop them. And there's way more knowledge that we're going to share on the different bureaus, different banks, and how to leverage your credit to invest in other businesses that we've both started and been seen huge success with. And that's why we're here. So questions, guys, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm just, just to close it out, I'm just super excited to be able to share listen, everything I've done on let's call it online platforms has been from experience. Bodybuilding is from experience, being a nutritionist from experience, going into e-commerce. What I'm going to talk about is from experience, everything I've done myself. So I'm not coming to you guys, and neither is Adam, just to talk about something to try to make money on people. These are things that we actually done ourselves. We walked in the shoes. So I'm here to talk about the things I've accomplished, and Adam's going to talk about the things he's accomplished. And I'm going to stay in my lane, and you'll stay in his lane. And we're just here to share the experience, help others, help you guys, teach you guys, guide you guys, just like I do on my fitness channel, and Adam does and every the other channels he does, is just help people. And you'll notice customer support's number one. We'll help everybody. We answer all messages, DMs, emails. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to hit us both up. Email Adam, email me, whatever you guys want to do. We're going to be here to help you guys in the long run. So, you have any last words you want to say before we?
No, I'm just
wrap this one up.
This is something definitely exciting, of something big that you guys are in store for. And yeah, we're highly accessible. Don't hesitate to send anybody a DM. I know a lot of people on Instagram, they think they're too good to reply back, leave you on red, whatever the case may be. But Adam Reich on Instagram. Any DMs, any questions, we're happy to help. And any questions you guys have for future episodes, let Nick know that we can cover for you. Because you might not be the only one with that question, right? So if we just answer you, there might be hundreds of other people that are thinking or asking the same thing. So we're going to address questions live. And this is going to be huge, guys. So we're excited to be here.
We're gonna shoot for weekly for sure. We might do bi-weekly. We might do 2 podcasts a week. Definitely a weekly podcast on here. We're gonna set a day release time for you guys to have every week, so it's consistent and you guys know when to tune in. Be sure to check out YouTube and Apple Podcasts, and then obviously follow us both on Instagram. I'll put the Instagram names up here. And then obviously, if you guys want any information about credit repair, just go to True Credit Repair. Do you want to put in a different web address? TrueCreditRepair.com.
We could post the link, but yeah, RepairTrueCredit.com. That's the main page, Repair True Credit. But yeah, reach out to me and Nick first. Obviously, we want to address any issue that you might have. And we'll go over specific credit monitoring services that we utilize. And that'll be another episode as well. And why you need to stay away from these free credit monitoring services like Credit Karma and Experian, and how they're negatively affecting your credit report. A lot of people don't know that.
Experian
and Credit Karma, they're free, right? Well, they're free for a reason. And we'll go into detail with that in the next episode of why they're horrible to use and why they're negatively affecting your credit repair process and your credit report. So, I'm in the midst of moving, right? I just bought a house down in South Florida. So this setup right now is not ideal, but
we'll get you a 760 credit score background.
Big Trigili setup. So we'll and once I get my home office all nice and lit up, once I make that move from New York to South Florida after Thanksgiving, after the holiday. So we're excited, and let's roll.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is a Hustler's Mindset, and we'll see you on the next podcast, guys. Have a good one.